Yeah, there's a camera. There it is. Let's get back to that. Let me get a picture. So that we can Yeah. I'll give you the
Yeah, I don't know what email.
4. I will look into that and I'll send you the 4. They sent me a 4, so
Oh, perfect. You did, you're good. Also, I'm sorry. I was just bullying.
Well, yeah, it's like because I fast over that.
I literally did
I typed in the letters
I literally,
T, C, and then I didn't finish it.
you literally
And
admitted
it's
that you
how
were
dare you, I'm gonna block you, and I typed it.
You literally
which was bitch.
told me to my face that you were gonna type bitch, and I told you to your face that I was gonna block you.
I never saw that.
You literally said it to my face.
Massachusetts say otherwise. So that must be really hard.
I am not. Because now you are gaslighting because you literally said so to my face.
I said no such thing. I hereby call this meeting of the South Dakota Mines Student Association Senate to order. Roll call and approval of proxies.
Alder Oppen.
Present.
Proxy Archer.
Here.
Hance.
here.
Dumont.
Here.
Hernandez. Fink.
Here.
Harder. Gerke. Keel.
Here.
Leonard. Lindworm.
Here.
Lockwood.
Here.
Knight.
Here.
Nedved.
Here.
Pilling.
Here.
Sattler.
Here.
Schock.
Here.
Siekman.
Here.
Smith.
Here.
Tone.
Here.
Twing.
Here.
Week.
Here.
Roxy Winter.
Here.
Fantastic. The agenda got sent out roughly just before the meeting, so are there any questions about the agenda, any changes that need to be made? I know this is a busier one today. Fantastic. The agenda is approved with unanimous consent. Minutes were also sent out this week. Any adjustments to the minutes? Fantastic. So the minutes are approved with unanimous consent. We'll now move to our open floor guest with the chess club. Feel free to go and stand in front of the podium if you're on the screen. Perfect.
Hello everyone, I'm Hunter Harrison. I'm the president of the Chess Club as of right now, and I'm here to speak about the South Dakota Mines Chess Club and getting it approved through Senate. So the purpose of the South Dakota Mines Chess Club is just to teach some chess basics as well as connect students to one another through a common kind of interest. We've got a position actually called student advisor, which takes care of teaching chess basics, and we have weekly meetings, actually one Tuesdays for teaching basics and Saturdays for just open chess so students can get to know each other, and we encourage friendly competition and we make sure the students actually get to connect over chess. Next is demographics. These are pretty simple. We've only had so many meetings so far. Clearly Tuesday meetings are not as much of a fan. People don't go to as many of those as Saturday meetings, but we've got quite a few freshmen, and we have some upperclassmen, not too many sophomores from what I've seen. Most mechanical and computer science, to my knowledge. But our roster, we tend just to record names, and if you attend regularly, that opens you up for positions later down the line. Moving moving on from that, events. We currently are holding 4 events over this semester. One has already occurred, one is happening tonight if you would like to attend. It is the Bughouse Chess Night. These are all happening through student engagement, as Christopher Pappas is the one running them, and we're making sure that we have students who are willing to and ready to actually engage and play during them to represent South Dakota Mines. From there, we've then got some fundraising ideas. I've spoken briefly about these with some of my other officers. Most of them would hopefully be interdisciplinary. We'd allow some of our members to come up with ideas for making chessboards, making chess pieces, and getting in contact with other clubs on campus, whether that's 3D Printing Club or Casting Club, and getting those made, possibly selling those later down the line as fundraising for our club. But these are just ideas that we need to kind of iron out more. But I just throw them out there, throw them in here as well, and mention them. Moving on from that, current officers. I'm acting president right now. Our vice president was Jacob. He recently moved to student advisor. And then treasurer, we've got Storm, who actually started heading up this club last year. I took over for him because he was working on Innovation Club. Secretary Brian, and of course Jacob, our student advisor. That's all. Any questions? Yes.
Do you know when you'll get your vice president position filled?
Vice president position, we are working on that now. I'm speaking with a couple of members who've been showing up regularly about whether or not they'd be willing to take on some responsibility and step up as a vice president or not. In the meantime, I've been able to make it to almost every meeting, and we've got other officers who are willing to fill in if I'm not there.
Will Chess Club be looking for any funding for this year?
I do not believe this year. So far, everything's been taken care of, and all of our events are being put up and run well through student engagement. I don't think we are in need of any funding through Student Senate. Yes?
I know you borrow boards and pieces from people. Is that student engagements?
That's student engagements.
Okay.
Those come from them, and we store them in the student engagement offices after meetings.
Okay.
Fantastic. Any other questions for Chess Club? Well, then we'll be seeing this again next week. Thank you very much, Hunter.
Excuse me, Ben, do I need to stick around? I've kind of got the
Nope, you're free to go.
department. Awesome, thank you so much.
Right. Moving on to our unfinished business and our resolution of student organization deactivation.
Pastor Lewis, resolution number 23F010, presented this last week. Any questions?
Are there any questions for Senator Pilling? Are there any motions? Senator Alrape.
Motion to vote.
Seconded by Senator Twing. Move to a roll call vote.
Alderman.
Aye.
Archer. Rossi Richard. Cantz.
Aye.
Dumont.
Aye.
Hernandez.
Aye.
Fink.
Aye.
Carter.
Aye.
Gerke.
Aye.
Keel.
Aye.
Leonard.
Aye.
Milburn.
Aye.
Lockwood.
Aye.
McCallum. Aye.
Aye.
Nedved.
Aye.
Pilling.
Aye.
Sattler.
Aye.
Schott.
Aye.
Seekman.
Aye.
Smith.
Aye.
Tome.
Aye.
Twing.
Aye.
Weed. Roxy Richard.
Aye.
Passes.
Passes.
All right, moving on to our new business and resolution 23F012, Chess Club.
Councilman Lewis, resolution number 23F012, 25th October 2023, originated by the Constitution Committee, presented by me, Senator Linwood. Whereas adequate interest has been expressed by students with wishing to form an organization, the South Dakota Mines Chess Club, and noting that there are currently no organizations that overlap this interest, and whereas a constitution has been constructed and reviewed for said club, and therefore be it resolved by a majority vote of the Student Senate and the signature of the Student Association President that the constitution for the South Dakota Mines Chess Club be approved, allowing for formal recognition.
Any questions for Senator Lindblom? And we'll be seeing this next week. Thank you very much. All right, resolution number 23-014, concrete canoe supplemental.
And Passenger Lewis, resolution number 23F0, that should be 14, that's not changed. Presented on the 25th of October, 2023, originated by the Finance Committee, presented by myself. Whereas Concrete Canoe has approached the Finance Committee with a supplemental request to provide funding for a concrete mold vendor. And whereas the appropriate paperwork has been filed with the Finance Committee, and whereas the Finance Committee has deemed $3,400 as an appropriate amount to allocate to the organization, and noting Concrete Canoe did not request supplemental funding this past fiscal year, so they are eligible for the full $5,000 of supplemental funding. Therefore, be it resolved by a majority vote of the Student Association Senate and the signature of the Student Association President that $3,400 be allocated from the SOAP Reverted Funds account for SA003 to Concrete Canoe.
Any questions for CFO Van Ruler, starting with Senator Twain?
What's a concrete mold vendor?
Someone that's not me, possibly.
So every year we have to have a mold, and then the concrete is shaped around the mold. So the vendor is just a company who uses these lasers.
It's a hot wire cutter.
It just cuts into the bone and then makes the mold for us, and then this would also include shipping. In previous years, we've gotten it for free through the H Brothers, but they weren't able to do it this year. This is why. That's why it's supplementing.
Senator Alvarez.
Is this something that needs to be voted on today? Okay.
Senator Leonard.
You said this is so did they just find out they weren't getting a free mold, and that's why it's supplemental and was not included in the original SOAP application?
So last year, so SOAP submitted around November. At that time, we were still getting free molds from the H Brothers. We found out in August-ish, September, that they weren't going to be able to do that. So.
Any further questions? Then we'll be seeing this next week. All right, resolution 23F015, exams during career fair week.
Senator Lewis, resolution number 23F, should be 014, because our resolution was taken off the agenda. RJ 25th of October 2023, originated by the Student Affairs Committee, presented by myself. Whereas students have been complaining about being too busy with tests over career fair week, noting students who aren't able to attend career fair because they had tests during that time, noting students did not have time to prepare for interviews because they were studying for tests, noting students did not have time to study for tests due to professional networking events. Therefore, be it resolved by a majority vote of the Student Senate and signature of the Student Association President that the Student Association Senate takes a stance in favor to remove tests over career fair week.
Any questions for Senator McCallum on this? Dr. Joe.
So the first noting students not able to attend career fair, in our excused absence policy, it does allow students to prioritize the career fair over class. So as that policy is written, they would be eligible to have an excused absence. So I don't know if that impacts how you want to word that, but I wanted to make sure that the group did that.
I know it would personally cause me stress if I was purposely missing a test to go to the career fair, and I feel like that's would be a common feeling among students. They would feel pressured to still do the test.
Senator Lockwood.
Well, from my observations when I was doing the career fair, one of my professors did cancel class, but the issue was actually I did have 6 hours of lab that day, and I know a lot of other students that did. So is there like anything that is like an idea there about like how laboratories should be set up on days like the career fair?
I have a comment to add in addition to this from President Kessinger that states he thinks the issue isn't that they have class, it's just that they have to study for exams or attend exams, which either way, even if it's an excused absence, causes stress in students and is an inconvenience.
Yeah. I wonder if there's a way to phrase that so it's to a non-student, right? So that would be more clear. Students are prioritizing attending class because they don't want to miss an exam over the career fair opportunity, which we would not want to happen.
So changing the first noting there to something like that? Is that what you are saying?
I think that would be more clear to a non-student who's reading it, but totally up to you guys.
Can we finally amend that, or does it change it?
Senator Twain.
Can we kind of table this and amend it during our next meeting to kind of phrase it a bit more differently?
I feel like it's fine. Go
So-
back to career fair and so.
Motion to table, seconded by Senator Quillen. So this is a unanimous consent one that we haven't done with freshman senators. So all those in favor of tabling this agenda say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Alright, motion or agenda is, resolution is tabled until next week. Okay, moving on to open discussion for this week. Wow, nothing for open discussion? Going once, going twice. Alright, yes.
Has anybody in here parked on the ramp spots, like for school? Like,
Like in the football
yes,
stadium. rooms?
at the football stadium, on the ramps for classes?
Yes.
Yes. Have you noticed that everybody follows the same angle as they park so that it like doesn't coordinate with the designed parking spaces?
Yes.
So a lot of people got tickets, myself included, a few days ago because they were parked in 2 spots.
Yeah, so that's not the first round that this has happened before, and as far as I'm aware, like I said, this is the first round, like, we had these during parking appeals, multiple appeals for this, and I don't see them getting appealed currently, because we don't, the way we viewed it was, one person not following the directions of the lines, it's not giving everybody else permission to not follow the directions of the lines. That's how we do that.
Parked up there before, we're talking about on the 3rd level where it comes straight. You
Yeah.
can't, if you park straight, nobody else can park. They
Yes.
can't get around you.
The angle must be followed as
Yeah.
soon as one person sets the angle. Like if you're pulling in between 2 cars, there's no way around you getting that ticket for being in 2 spots because those 2 cars were already parked at the angle previously designated.
Yeah, I don't know, if you pull in straight, I don't know if you're gonna be able to get out
Yes.
with a decent sized vehicle, so. I don't know, I always thought those lines were stupid the way they were done, but.
Yeah, they're not even like full spots.
Yeah, I just thought it was interesting. I just wondered if anybody else was also having that problem.
Not that issue, I park farther down.
So, Senator Langer, do you think this is something that could be discussed with Kathy the next time the parking appeals meets as well?
Yes.
Senator Alrape.
Yeah, it should be discussed, but it would be better. Parking appeals committee is what we think. Like they ask us like what we think about certain things and situations, and especially like of like the colors and where they're at, essentially too. She's asked us about that. I think the best thing for you guys to do is get a collection of people, give us a document, something that you want us to talk about, so that we're not going in there because I can't relate to you guys. I'm a yellow parking badge. I have to walk almost everywhere. So I don't have that problem, and I've never had to park there. But I can see I have a truck, and I'm guaranteeing I could not. I've seen the spots when I walk by them, and I don't think I can fit my truck in there. But just having a consensus of what you guys want would be better, so that when we're asking her, it's not like so what are they asking for? And I'm like, oh,
Senator Landry.
That was where my lack of confidence in being able to create parking wheels, because again, I don't park up there either, so I can't really visualize what you're saying.
Does that answer what you're looking for? Senator Teal.
So are we saying that, because I don't think the Parking Appeals Committee we necessarily have, we just make a decision, all we do is appeals.
Mm-hmm.
We don't make decisions on how the lines should be drawn. So is that something that this body should be doing, is have the lines redrawn? Because I don't think that's something that committee does.
Senator McCallum.
So last year we had ad hoc that was just parking committee. President Kessler decided to disband that one after the colors were changed, because that was the main focus. I feel like we could look into adding that again, especially with the issues that I saw in my poll about adding the unload zone in for all of them.
Senator Twain.
You could maybe create like a photo or a video, because I don't really get like the angle and stuff you're talking about, because I haven't parked up there either. But for the Parking Appeals Committee, maybe even during your appeal to kind of show them like how it is impossible to not park on the lines or in two spots.
Yeah, and I feel like there was multiple items that came up while we were going through, like the 40+ appeals that needed to be addressed, like changes to the map, and I feel like there was quite a few things, and it just didn't feel like the place that we properly addressed. We mentioned them, of course, but we didn't feel like, at least I didn't feel like we had the power to do anything different. That wasn't what our agenda was there.
Yeah, so without sharing names, please, I have just a related question. When you guys were going through the appeals, I know students and employees have the opportunity to come before the committee. Did anybody take advantage of that?
One.
Yeah, we have out of 43, we had one, and we don't see names or anything on the appeals, so.
Okay, so only one person took that opportunity?
Yeah.
And we did see pictures of the parking on the ramps. I don't know which level it was. Was it the third? Yeah. And like I said, the other people on the committee were very like, that doesn't give them permission to park sideways. That was the.
But they were parked the opposite way. Like it was a crazy.
Yeah, it was
like if y'all were parked like a little bit off, no, they were like parked like it was going this way, and they were parked this way. It was like it was
in 3 spots, and then that caused everybody else to be totally whacked.
Yeah.
I would just park somewhere else in my opinion, but you know.
So again, unrelated to the main discussion, but I do think for any student, if you ever find yourself, hey, I want to appeal this ticket, I think it may be more compelling if you take the effort to show up to it. I see some nods, so.
Senator Tom, do you have a comment?
Yeah, is it, I haven't parked up there, but is it just a matter of people like parking big vehicles up there and they just don't want to walk, or what's the bigger issue?
In my opinion, it's because the spots that are like parallel to the field are all angled a certain way, and so then when you turn at the bend to go like behind the goalpost, everyone continues to park at that angle. However, the parking spots change to a different angle. It's a little bit more of an issue because when people park around that bend at that angle, people just continually follow it all the way down.
Okay.
Which probably gives a little bit more room to park, but they're not within the lines.
Okay.
So like when the games are happening, the cars are facing the field.
Yes. Yeah.
Any further comments to construct onto this? Yes.
I just have a question for long-term appeals. Do you guys remember some of the issues that you said should be addressed by someone else?
I know a lot of people were having trouble with the way the stadium parking lot was colored, so we talked about making the stripes on the multicolor section thinner and multiple to make it clear that there were 2 different halves of the stadium. What else was there?
just clarification. It's like they say I think my biggest thing was they say the map supersedes anything that, like, anything posted supersedes what the map says, but like that's confusing. I just said it was just more of the clarification of it, because I've gotten a ticket before too, and no one wants to get a ticket. That's just the thing. It's like it's really annoying Like it's not like I hate being on parking appeals committee, but I hate the idea that we have to have a parking appeals committee. You know what I mean? Like, but it's that same sense. Like we're there, and it's like, oh yeah, this ticket came up twice. And why is this ticket came up twice? It's because there's not clarification here, and this is maybe something that we need to educate incoming students on, and things like that.
Point of clarification. Who is they in your comment, Senator Alarabi?
It's like for it. It's for like so campus security has so they make the choice on who they like the ticket goes to. Like they go out there, they see someone's parked in the wrong spot. They make that choice of who like what that ticket gets administered for. They have like a little checklist of what they choose. But yeah, we as a parking appeals committee had. I think that was the problem is we didn't find clarification into that. It was like, I mean, we read, we have to read the guidelines, and it's like, we read the guidelines, but I personally feel like the guidelines are very ambiguous and leading towards the university, so that's, kind of hard to come back at them. So it just adds like an extra layer of like, it's just an extra layer.
So in an attempt here to limit circular discussion, so essentially what I'm pulling out of this is we will look into an ad hoc on restarting a parking committee to look into not just appeals focused, but overall parking as well. So, and lines and adhering to them during daytime hours outside of football games. So, yeah, just quick show of hands. Anyone interested in like just a parking committee and ad hoc that we put up? Okay, so there's more than enough interest here for us to create one. So, Senator Lambert.
The other big issue is the ambiguity of overnight parking. While they do give lenience to the library parking, graduate students find it safer to park close to whatever building they're in, and they're getting ticketed even though they're not coming in till late, they're not like sleeping here, they're just working within like the hours they can be, and that ambiguity we were having discussions about fixing.
Fantastic. Any other open discussion? Fantastic. CFO report.
Okay, we looked at that supplemental today. We will also be looking at another one next week. I don't have much, but if any of you guys have heard anything from Minds Rescue, please send them my way. And finally, last week there was some interest in getting talking points about GAF for organizations so that you guys can talk to the organizations that you are a part of. So I've been working on some talking points about GAF, and that's probably what we'll be looking at tomorrow in our finance meeting. End of report.
Any questions for CFO Van Ruler? Senator Alvarez.
Are we gonna? Is that like I know you're working on it, but how are we planning to administer that? Are we going to send it out like to the org officers, or are we just going to like give it to us? Us try to.
I think that's probably something we'll talk about tomorrow. I thought about sending it out to the organization officers because the people that were at SELF workshops seemed to think that a gap increase was a reasonable idea. I also think that could be given out to all of you guys, so maybe both.
Thank you.
Any other questions for CFO Van Ruler? Okay, moving on to the Vice President's report. I'm going to be combining the Vice President's report and the President's report into one today because a lot of what Sam would have to say is overlapping with me. So there's two parts to my report today. First, a Student Federation update because we were able to finally have a meeting for the month of October, and then my meeting with President Rankin that happened yesterday. So starting with our Student Federation update, we had our meeting. We were finally able to get one to happen for this month. The big takeaway point from the meeting essentially was to say that both DSU and Northern University have officially started their procedures into petitioning for a gap increase on their campus. They're actually beginning the process of working towards discussing it in open forums on their campus and eventually working to try and bring a formal vote on their campus to get a majority of their student population on board with the gap increase. So that is officially 1/3 of the VOR universities that are going to be doing so. Our hope is to begin that process ourselves this year as well. So any questions about that part? That was the majority of our student fed. Yeah.
So are the rest of the universities in support of us doing it? They just don't think that increase their own gap?
At the moment, I would not use the terms in supportive as strong. They just understand our position because the rest of them are not suffering from a gap shortage. And our understanding of it is because a lot of clubs at the much larger state universities don't have as large a student organization participation, and therefore as much money invested in them as we do by ratio of size of student organizations to size of the university overall. We're an extremely active university, numbers wise, and so as such we're needing more gap by ratio than some of these other much larger state schools are. So I wouldn't say that they're quite in support of it yet, because they do like the idea of just going up to the BOR and the state governments and saying we're going to put a freeze on everything. It's a good look for them, but they understand our position at the very least, and it helps that 2 other schools are in that same boat as us. So I had our monthly meeting with President Rankin yesterday to discuss Senate items with President Rankin. You all might have seen this afternoon in the President's weekly update email that he sends out, an update on the athletics transportation situation to clarify what exactly is happening. I don't even know what you call it, the tourist destination out on Highway 16 that does the Fort Hays Dances with Wolves reenactment location. During the summertime, they run tourist buses in between Mount Rushmore downtown and their location, and during the wintertime, their buses are not active. So their owner of their location would like their buses to be making money year-round since he has drivers on payroll, and the school is working on actually putting together a contract for not just athletics, but possibly student group use as well with these buses. So they verified that the company actually has proper buses. I was told that this owner actually owns these charter buses on only a 5-year lease, which means that the buses are never more than 5 years old. So there's always brand new buses that are going to be available, and these could be used for student orgs traveling to competitions as well, not purely athletics. So the school is in the midst of in that negotiation. I talked to President Rankin about gap updates, the fact that we did our safety walk with Student Senate, and we looked at lighting across campus and some of the other things that were mentioned in the essay poll. President Rankin discussed that he'd like to be an open floor guest at some point this semester to Senate, which I told him that we would obviously love to have him here as an open floor guest. So at our e-board meeting, I think we're going to look at some dates that would be good to have President Rankin here to come in and talk to us for an evening, or just as an open floor guest for a little bit. A concern that some students had with Matt Hanley leaving the university was that the career fair could possibly be in jeopardy or suffer a little bit, and President Rankin wanted us all to be aware that that is not going to be an issue whatsoever in his eyes, that the position is already out for hire, it's already listed, and they have a person in that position currently interim, so there's no worries about the career fair. One big thing that we did talk about was consistently for the last 4 years, Governor Noem has taken off the Monday after Easter as a day of no classes or no state work, actually. But it's always been up to the governor to forgive that day and make it into a state holiday. And if the governor doesn't forgive it, there's very few other people in the state that have the power to be able to do so. It was brought to our attention that at the student fed level, we could possibly put together a stance to take a stance in favor of making that a permanent academic calendar change of taking off the Monday after Easter for travel purposes to turn into a long weekend so that people don't have to travel on Easter Sunday. So that's something that I plan on bringing forth to student fed to see if we can take a stance in favor of that, because I don't see a reason why any of the other schools would be opposed to taking a day off of classes. So, and the Monday after Easter is a relatively easy one because it's always a Monday, because Easter is always on a Sunday. It's not like Christmas where it changes days of the week, and so it would be difficult to do something like that. So, I believe that covers all the points that I had. So, any questions about that? Yeah.
I think we should try to get President Rankin in on one of our bigger meetings in the ballroom.
I was thinking something similar. Yeah. Is there anyone that thinks that That would not be a good idea. Would we oppose to that?
I think it's November 15th and December 13th, I want to say, are our dates. Besides, next week, November 1st, is the first one, which I'll talk about in my announcement.
Fantastic. Yep, no, I'll bring that to his office's attention as well, see if we can make that happen. Any other questions, comments, concerns? Awesome, moving on to international report.
Yeah. So I did a survey and got in contact with the Alamo International Center to send out to all international students to get any feedback about any complaints or anything. I think there was one complaint in the complaint box, international students were better without much details. So hopefully we'll get more details about that and any other concerns. So that's it. End of report. And yeah, just in addition, it should go out by tomorrow. So that's it. End of report.
Any questions for Senator Fernandez? Moving on to the veteran report.
The Veterans Club is starting to kick off their chili cook-off, fundraising for their raffle. If anybody's interested, part of the club or a student senate wants to put in their personal chili, deadline is the day before, so November 6th. The event is on November 7th, 11 to 12. Grand prize for the raffle this year is a PS5. Other than that, I don't think I have anything else. End of report.
So any questions for our veteran report?
Can you say the time again?
11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on November 7th.
Okay.
So moving on to our graduate report.
Nothing.
Any questions for Senator Tone? All right, now chat report.
No report.
Any questions for Senator Kentz? So moving on to our community report, starting with the Constitution.
So I was able to meet with Kingdom Sports this week, which is great. So they should be potentially presenting next week along with ATMA. So be on the lookout for those. Thank you for passing the resolution to deactivate. That's important. End of the report.
Any questions for Senator Lee? Moving on to our PR report.
Yeah, so next week is our first Senate meeting in the ballroom. I just got an email from Stephanie Lindsley asking how we'd like the room set up. So unless there's any strong opinions otherwise, I'm thinking we do a semicircle and then semicircle on the outside for any spectators who want to come. I think that's the most convenient setup for everyone. Yeah.
Are we going to get charged for that?
Chairs? Oh, charged.
Charged.
I don't know that yet. If we're going to get charged for the setup fee, I will be sending out a panicked email this weekend asking for help because I just am behind the ball and haven't sent that email out, so I don't have that information now. But yes, I will do everything I can to make sure we don't get charged for that. But yeah, so that's next week. Tell people to come, voice their concerns, come see how Senate works. And then the following Saturday, the 4th, will be our last pigskin problem of the year. We're doing it at the volleyball game, so it's not going to be a pigskin problem. We're workshopping a new name. So that'll be fun. Come to the volleyball game and enjoy the problem.
Any questions for Senator Sidney? Moving on to GR. Government relations. Do you have any comments from Megan? Fantastic. Does anyone have any questions to move on?
The Halloween dress up contest is next Wednesday. Does anyone know if there's a prize on here?
There's what?
A prize.
Not so far.
We're working on.
Oh, it's a 3D printed trophy, yeah.
Cute.
High stakes. Any questions for anyone on GR? Yes, Senator Lee.
Wait, so that's costume contest
in the ballroom.
In the bar.
Correct.
I would like to know. I would like to know Ben's idea.
What did you say, Senator Lee? What was your comment?
I was just clarifying that we have costume contest in the ballroom.
Next week.
I'd like to clarify that it's helping make Senate look fun. So please bring your best costumes, and I know I'll be visiting Spirit Halloween tomorrow in the mall. So. All right. Any other questions for GR? Moving on to SA.
Thanks to everyone that came into the forum. If you were there was one non-senator at the forum who had no complaints to add. I think in the future, we're just gonna be brainstorming how to have more people show up. I think we did a really good job in PR and essay to advertise it. So I don't know if that's some sort of an issue, but we're gonna be workshopping that. I'm gonna try and set up a Spirit Friday here in the next couple of weeks, because it's been a while since we've done one. Next Monday, I plan on sending a survey out about T2O. So if you have any ideas on specific questions to ask, email me. And then I just wanted to touch on what Senator Fernandez said. There was a specific complaint about professors not knowing how to interact with international students. Like you said, there was no specific information given. So me and Joe gave the idea of possibly working with the Ivanhoe Center to try to workshop some ideas on how to educate professionals a little bit more better about that. So we'll be working on that together.
Yep, so I just had one more thought on that, Senator McCallum. So in the past, I've actually received emails from faculty, at least two, saying, hey, I got my end of the year surveys and feedback from students, and some of the comments were negative towards them as international faculty members. So, sorry, that might have been hard to follow. So at the end of the semester, students do surveys on their faculty members, and if the faculty member is international, sometimes they feel like the students are more harsh. It was hard to follow your lectures because of your accent or whatever. So maybe there's a bigger opportunity because faculty are maybe hoping for that too.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I've been, this whole department does just yearly reviews of each class, and in one of our classes there are specific things that he said about the person being international, so I think it's just across the board. That would be good to do it.
Any questions for essay? Lockwood.
Just specifically for the D2L, I actually did talk to a lot of people about that. So there's like two kinds of issues that I've seen, is that people say that either their professors don't use it at all, or the professors just don't understand like the usage of D2L. So can I get another clarification on how the professors do the training to use D2L, or like what their process is? Understand it?
I was just going to add that that's pretty much what I've heard, is that professors do not know how to use it well.
So are you asking me the process of how they would train that?
Senator Tone.
They receive no training on D2L, just so everyone knows that. Like, it gets thrown at them and there's nothing. And D2L sucks to use. For everyone behind the scenes, it absolutely sucks.
Yeah.
So they're trying their best, but give them a break on that.
Senator Lee.
Yeah, I believe they had a brief training at the beginning of COVID, and then that was it.
Senator Leonard.
I didn't know what D2L was until like 2 weeks into the semester in my freshman year.
So there is a full-time staff member at the college called a Faculty Development Director. It's Andrea Surbeck is her name. And it's her job to be able to train or bring opportunities to faculty, new or seasoned. So if that's something that comes out of the survey, her office would definitely be the home spot to provide training or bring in experts to provide training to faculty. Faculty Development Director Andrea Surbeck.
And do keep in mind that we're talking about, this is a poll that will be going out next week, so also thoughts we have right now will more than likely be reiterated in a poll that will be filled out. And if we have anywhere near as good of a turnout as we did for the first one, then we will have plenty of opinions. Yes.
I just have a quick question for you, Joe. When I'm making my poll, I was thinking of possibly putting a question about if you had a certain department they thought would need more. Is that like acceptable? I didn't know if it was like personally calling people out. That was too much.
Yeah. Well, or if you have, please list your department and then you can look at the data based on that.
Okay.
Would that work?
Yeah.
It seems a little less targeted.
Yeah.
I feel like it would come out one-sided if you ask them if there's a certain department, because a lot of people are taking the majority of the classes through one department, more than one department. Any other questions for essay? Any campus or ad hoc committees that would like to give a Senator Dillon?
So I finally talked to Cody Marshall a little bit about cameras. A few cameras still need to be installed from phase one. I I am meeting with him the second week of November to discuss all of the updates and what needs to happen going forward. But he said phase 2 is what Senate should be working towards, and I'll figure out what that is when I meet with him the second week of November.
Any questions for Senator Pillen? Any other campus or ad hoc committees? Senator Campus.
Yeah, I attended the Turk meeting yesterday, which if you guys don't know, Turk is the committee that oversees KTEC, which is our student radio station. And so what they got going on right now is a lot of kind of restructuring on who's, they are nominating a new president, and Cecilia is going to be the new manager of everything. Will's going to be the head engineer. They're also adding a new Turk member, and they have two, the ever popular Pancheros fundraisers coming up. They got one on November 2nd, and one is December 8th.
Go support your physical music fellow enthusiasts. Any questions for Senator Campus? Any other updates? Senator Challen.
The commencement meeting met, and the only issue that they wanted our opinion on was the cost associated with graduation for the number of students graduating. There's only about 50 this year, and it's like $10K to put it on. I personally don't think that's that much, given all the stuff we have to go through, but they thought it was a lot to spend. So we just want student opinions on that we'll take back.
So this was brought up last semester for everyone's here already, and it was, in my opinion, everyone here was very pro continuing to do that. I know we discussed a little bit with Nejo trying to find a different place to have it that is cheaper. So I don't know if there's been any updates on that, specifically finding a place.
Yeah, we talked a little bit in the commencement committee meeting about that too. It's a little bit difficult for this year. We've already signed a contract with Monument, so that $10K price, that's locked in. But moving forward, specifically for the December commencement, we're gonna have less and less students. Probably anywhere from 50 to 60 in the years to come. We could probably fit that in the gym. And still allow graduates to bring as many family and friends as they want with 50 graduates. So definitely possible.
I think given how much money we spend for education, I think the least the school can do is put on graduation in a nice place. Nothing wrong with the gym, but I don't want to walk across the gym floor.
Senator Alarabe.
Who do you, if the committee's looking for students' opinions, who should we email? Who should we send their emails to? You?
Sure.
Okay.
Senator Seekman.
Another possibility I know in town is the Doll Arts Center. I don't know if they're any cheaper than the Monument, but nice venue, off campus, might be a little bit, it's smaller, so it's probably a little cheaper for possibility.
Senator Leonard.
Maybe I'm misunderstanding, but why couldn't we use the ballroom?
That would probably be a little too small. So yeah, if you have 50 to 60 graduates plus a bunch of faculty and staff, and we never have had to limit the amount of tickets. So like say Secretary Garcia is graduating, he can bring as many family and friends as he wants. A space like the ballroom, if I have to say, you can only bring 2, which we really don't want to do. And I really like what Senator Tom's saying. Let's go off campus. Let's make it.
Let's be an event. So.
Senator Smith.
I would like to mention I love the Doll Arts idea, but parking might be an issue because there's no parking ramp, there's no parking lot. It's just around the building. So just to note that.
Any other questions or comments? Yes.
I would just say, if you guys have any random ideas of places you think of, I'm also a part of the committee with Senator Tom, so just email both of us probably in one email if you have any other ideas that we can bring up.
Any other campus or ad hoc committees to report? Upcoming Senate business, we have our costume contest in the ballroom next week, so be there. And watch your emails over the coming week from Senator Seekman in case we do need some help setting up for that. Doesn't take all that much work to put out some tables, but it's definitely much more helpful to have 5 or 6 people instead of 1 or 2 people setting up tables. So
I'll let you know either way if you're needed or not needed.
any other upcoming Senate business? announcements. Dr. Joe.
Yeah, so I just wanted to give an update. Last week, thank you to everyone who was in attendance was able to vote for the commencement speaker, as we've been talking about December commencement. So we had 4 students who got 3 votes or more. So my office invited all 4 of them. Hey, if you've been nominated as a finalist, if you want to participate, just send us a headshot and a brief bio, and then we'll do a final vote to everyone who's graduating and everyone who's a senior, even if they're not graduating. We had one student who said, hey, I'm actually not walking, so I can't give a speech. I had one who did not respond and said, yes, I'm interested. So 2 finalists, and those of you that are graduating or seniors, you probably saw this today. So our 2 true finalists, Morgan Else and Cody Marshall. So those groups have a couple more days to vote, and then I believe by Monday we will close that vote, and the majority, whoever gets the highest votes, they will be our speaker, pending commencement committee, and President Rankin's final approval.
Another announcement, President Kessinger would like to remind everyone that he has sent out an email for a parking ad hoc committee, so go ahead and respond to that when you get some time. Any other announcements?
If we're not interested, should we fill it out? Because there's an option for no on it. As in, no, I'm not interested.
Go ahead and fill it out. Fill this inbox, but the answers are no.
But there is a section that says, why are you interested? It's required.
So just say no.
Just right. Just right.
And said, I'm very disinterested in this.
Any other announcements? Yes.
It's 61 days till Christmas. I'm looking forward to hearing from Mariah Carey again for the next few months. But just keep Secret Santa in your mind. That's all I got.
I'm entertaining motions to adjourn. Senator Weed, seconded by Senator Pilling. All in favor of adjourning, say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Adjourn.
Oh, no, he's doing it. No. We can't let him not do it. Oh, thanks, Drew. It's a joke.
It is? How is it a joke? What chapter are you at? Chapter 28 or something?
Yeah.
When they don't teach at all anymore?
They never. We're flipped classroom, so they don't teach at all.
No, they because it's at least they treat the conductor like those problems and those circuit boards as a puzzle, so it's actually fun to solve them.
Yeah.
But the ones that are they cannot teach
Undefined. Yeah, I'm a physics major and I don't like it.